So the Iconist was very prominent in the early days, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
you got like I recall reading a lot of your content as well, and I loved it. So what happened there? Tell us a bit. Well, how come you couldn't keep pushing out content, or why did you go on the back burner for a little while?
Right. It was always a plan from the very beginning of the Iconist. When Min Kim came to us and said, like, look, can you please build out this blog platform to help us with community, like interacting with the community. But it was always a plan from the very beginning for us to move on to a self-sustaining model after a period of time. And we were waiting for at the time it was called the EEP to launch. That was like what turned into the CPS eventually, but
Yeah.
it was a kind of a fun community funded model, and so we were waiting for that to launch, and that was supposed to launch in the same year, I think the December after iConsensus started. So we were waiting for that, but it never launched. And then Icons told us, why don't you move on to a PREP model then?
Mm.
And we were like, well, okay, if that's what you really want us to do. Um, so they stopped funding us, and then we launched the PREP node. But of course, the PREP node is not really it's not really the ideal way to fund a blog. I mean, we have
Mm.
staff to pay for and whatnot. Um, so yeah, we tried it for a while. We're not technicians. We're not
Yep.
coders. We're not system admins or anything like that. So it was complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did it for a few months, and then we decided it's not working, and we shelved it. We unregistered our node and just waited basically for the CPS to launch.
So this is what you do full time, right? You're a journalist. Your
Uh,
team.
Marketing, copywriting, public
Okay.
relations.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay. And that's where. So then CPS came, and it's like great. Even look. I'll be very honest. First, when I saw it, I was questioning. Oh, but when I reflected a little bit, I realized, and this is something I consistently said, information coming out now, but a lot of the what you were reporting, the private sector side kind of just fizzled because there was just no factual information apart from the technical updates that came out. Um, so when I saw your proposal, I was like, "Yep, godsend. This is great. We can actually get it." So let's talk about how was that experience of yours? What was it like? So the node did work out,
Hmm.
and it's good you said that because people's ideas you spin up a node and start making all this money. No, 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 it doesn't
It's
work
it's
that
not
way.
that easy at
Um,
all.
um, so CPS came about you opportunity. You're very passionate about Icon, obviously, and uh, how did you find that experience? Did you get a lot of support when you went around?
The CPS definitely. Finding the information on how to launch the CPS proposal properly was difficult.
Mm,
Um, there's a few different blog posts, and the information is kind of scattered among the different blog posts, and some of the information is not there. You have to find out when you're actually using the
mm,
system. So it was a bit complicated at first, but I mean we figured it out. It was fine. We got a I think actually we didn't even mention it to the community until like right when we were ready to launch, and
mm.
immediately we got a lot of really positive feedback. A lot of people were really keen to see us come back for the reasons that you just described.
Yeah.
Um, there were a lot of people that were concerned about the price that we were asking for basically around $10,000 a month. But I mean, if you think about it, that's actually not that high,
Mm.
considering that we have a full team of journalists working on this site. Um, it's not a it's not a cheap project to run by any
Mm.
means. Um, so yeah, definitely. And I mean, the price is down anyways.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I think this was probably, and this is one of the aspects in CPS that I know TJ and they're looking to fix. It
Mhm.
was where you put the proposals up in the forum. There was a, you guys had it up there for ages. I think I was one of the first comments, and one of the
Mhm.
questions I asked you was, "How big's your team?" Because I knew the funding you were asking for, everyone would start to question. So my first thing was, "Well, how big is your team? Is it a proper team here we're talking about, or is it my side hustle? You know, in
Yeah,
the, in
yeah,
the late
yeah,
hours trying to
yeah.
talk." So, and when you answered that, it kind of clicked in my mind. Well, yeah, okay, now it makes sense. So yeah, it'll be good when that aspect gets integrated into CPS, because I noticed what happened was when it went into voting, everyone started asking all these questions where, and all these questions should have been asked when it was in the proposal.
I know, I know.
So, and you guys handled it brilliantly. You set up all these conferences and made sure all the P reps were educated, which was brilliant.
Mhm,
But
mhm,
it really highlighted that disconnect versus, pitching something. Because one of the challenges is CPS is flows, right? 15-day flows. Now, if it had failed because people did not take the time to review everything in the forums, we've just lost essentially an entire month before you could resubmit it. And not just you. This is something that would plague all people who are trying to build or do something on
mhm,
Icon.
mhm.
So the idea of fleshing the proposal out earlier before voting is that really it should only go into voting because everyone's feeling confident that it's past that initial process. So
Exactly.
um,
Yep.
yeah, look, I'm glad it's worked out. So where how has it been 1 month now?
Yep. Yep. It's been. I mean, we just got our first payment. We launched on June 28th, and now it's July 30th. So yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
full month.
Okay. Cool. And how's so we've seen, oh, well, I'm seeing constantly you're hitting us with wave after wave of articles, which
Hmm.
is brilliant. How's the website refresh going?
It's oh man, it's this close to launching. It's this
Oh,
close. Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah. Our designer is just putting the last touches on it. Kind of like recategorizing some old articles and whatnot.
Yeah.
It looks great. Looks great. I probably launch early next week.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
soon.
it's
Okay.
it's
Yes.
coming really soon. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. It's gonna be really, really
Yeah.
great.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
been going on in the background. We've been just hustling the news as much as we could
Mm,
for the first, probably the first couple of weeks. Like we just did a cold start, right?
mm,
And like ideally with this kind of a blog, we usually have like a content calendar where we'll plan roughly 40 to 60% of the articles in advance, so we can arrange the interviews and get everything written beforehand.
mm.
And then another 40 to 60% is researched that week, sometimes researched that day.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like breaking icon news. This is stuff that was published in the Korean news that we want to share with the public, things like that. So, yeah, but when we first started, we didn't have any of that like stuff planned yet. We didn't have any of the interviews set up. So it took us about 2 weeks when we
Yeah.
were just chasing the story day after day after day, and then finally we managed to get the content calendar
Yeah.
prepared and stuff organized, and now it's running smoothly. It's running well now. Yeah.
And I guess, look, I'd get shot if I didn't ask this. So how is, because I recall in the early days before you'll shut down for a little while,
Hmm.
I actually recall seeing of interviews where you went into Icon Loop, showed the pass system working. I recall actually watching an interview around it. What's not my ID? What's the corporate visit me?
Visit me. I remember that.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So is stuff a bit of that replanned in your agenda now to kind of I know we've distanced Icon has distanced itself a little from Icon Loop, but
Hmm.
they're still a technical partner, and a lot of Iconists are still, I guess, Iconists, because we do hope that those partnerships that my idea and all that has is going
Hmm.
to come to fruition, which it has.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
how is that, since you've come back to the scene? Have you been able to deep dive and explore that? How have you been finding that information?
It's in the works. It's in the works. Of course, Icon Loop is they're being scrutinized a little bit, so they're being a little bit careful with the information that they release. But it's a temporary thing. It's not going to last forever. And
Dean, that is all we needed. Like just hearing that's brilliant because we know they're under and we know the implications. So yeah, thank you for saying that.
It's a temporary thing. We are in contact with them. We like if we writing about Icon Loop, we always get a hold of them and try to get some feedback on what we're writing. So yeah, we're in contact with them, and we hope to do some deep dive articles soon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.